What's your analysis of this deal? Is it something that is good for Gaza? Is it good for Israel? Is it good for Hamas? What's the Colonel Spencer analysis?
Sure. And I've been very vocal because I was surprised at it was a 21-point plan. One of the points they took off was the Israel requirement not to strike Qatar, which was covered in the phone call between.
Israel had that point removed.
No, it was negated because Israel made the call and made the apology to Qatar.
Right.
And so now it's a 20-point plan. Just so sometimes people are like, why do you go from 21 to 20? Like, well, they had to point about
because they've agreed that regardless of what happens.
Yeah.
Right.
The 20-point plan for me, one, as somebody who's been arguing with people over the last year about what is war, what are the goals, what's the realm of possibility in Gaza, it's a manifesto of you didn't know what you're talking about. Like the idea you can't defeat Hamas. Hamas is an idea. You can't defeat it's a resistance, all this stuff. The 20-point plan as written is a comprehensive plan of peace. It absolutely removes Hamas as an actor. If you follow every point of that plan, there is no more Hamas. It will have no role in the political or even societal efforts of the way forward, in which is also critical, the Arab and Muslim majority nations that signed up for this is the way forward. This is not a deal to be negotiated. It's a 20-point plan. It involves number one in and of itself would tell you everything you need to know. The Gaza Strip will be de-radicalized and demilitarized. Doesn't say anything about Hamas. All the hostages will immediately be given back. Hamas will give up all its arms. Like, it is a comprehensive plan, but it also covers Palestinian interests. If you're like, this is just Israel's terms, it does achieve every one of Israel's goals stated on October 8th. Absolutely, definitively covers them. Complete victory. But it also covers any argument of a Palestinian interest separate than Hamas. Even if you say, they were elected, they never had another election, it's just a fringe majority, and then you have the entire population paying the price for the war that Hamas. Okay, fine. If that's your goal, this plan covers every interest, no forced displacement. There will be a new governance made up of multiple countries, and Israel doesn't want anything to do with the governance plan structure. There'll be a new de-radicalization school program, the aid distribution, every element, and even talks about a path towards Palestinian self-determination in general. It actually puts into this about the Palestinian Authority doing the reforms, which have been one of the greatest hurdles to there being a Palestinian state, has been their representation, let alone the agreements on where the lines are between Israel and a new state if there was one. But this plan actually gives that actual conditions-based plan for a Palestinian self-determination, Palestinian reform, all of the negotiations. So it addresses every issue that any country, whether a true issue or just a political issue, it comprehensively goes through them and leads to the greatest potential for peace for not just Gaza, but for the Palestinian people.
Has Mahmoud Abbas or the Palestinian Authority commented on the peace plan?
I haven't seen that,
okay,
to be honest.
Okay, because presumably if they don't agree to those reforms, it's a moot point.
I think they have said, because I saw them during the United Nations talking about the reforms that they're already doing. So I think they think they're on that way as well, like the pay-to-slave program that they supposedly are reforming that I've written about, which I think is most people in the West truly don't know what it is. It's a complete societal program for Palestinian upward mobility in the Palestinian society. Is they have to stab a Jew, kill a Jew, something, and then they get free education, free healthcare. Not only the stipends, if they die, their family gets money for the rest of their lives.
Oh, this is from the Palestinian Authority.
It's the current pay-to-slave program that they say they're reforming, which is a big part of the reform. But also, they have to get rid of right of return, acknowledge that Israel exists, all these things. But this, I don't know if he's commenting on the 20-point plan. He might have. I just don't. I've been watching Qatar, Egypt.
Yes.
And now you had Indonesia come in on it, UAE, everybody. But now as we're talking, you have Hamas going, well, we agree to release the hostages, but I don't know if they want to try to deal out of the 20 points. I personally believe like not only does this achieve the goals of the war, it actually achieves a path of peace that couldn't have even been thought of before even October 7th.
What are the incentives for Hamas? The Hamas get amnesty, right? So
They could, yep.
That'd be one aspect. But can they go back to their people and sign this with their heads held high? Is this a golden bridge for Hamas, or is it actually a kind of?
It is not, and I don't think that. I think it was foolish to believe that had to be present. Like, I understand why Israel had to negotiate with Hamas because of the hostage situation, which is awful, and the price that Israel has paid for every single hostage, thousands of prisoners in exchange, was just the fact of what is going on, what Israel will give to get a single hostage back. But this 20-point plan it literally destroys Hamas as an organization and as an idea. It starts the de-radicalization. So Hamas could not survive in any way if this plan is implemented as it currently is.
So the incentive for Hamas to sign is this is their last chance to live, which isn't necessarily an incentive. Correct. Because of their martyr culture and the radical Islam nature of their ideology. And the other incentive to sign it would be that the Americans appear to be sending their military into the region again. I don't know if that you can, whether you know it.
No, I don't think that's a part of the calculation.
But sorry, I mean, it looks like, or let's put it differently. President Trump has said I think he said there'll be all hell to pay or something else like that along those lines if they don't sign. So it might be that there's a hammer blow that even Hamas.
So I don't think I think that's important, right? Because anytime there's been daylight between Israel and the United States, Hamas is viewed as hope that they will survive. This plan, for me, there is no incentive for Hamas. And I think it's naive to believe for a Hamas supporter that they have to get something out of this. They get destroyed and they surrender. Some of them, because the Hamas that is fighting today isn't the Hamas of October 7th. That entire leadership structure is gone, all dead.
Yeah.
Now you have the radicalized idea in a certain population of Gaza that call themselves Hamas. But to be clear, it's almost like people want to go, they started it for this reason. Like, who's they? Like, the entire Hamas ideology started it for that reason.
Uh-huh.
The entire Hamas ideology is genocidal. It states the destruction of Israel and the complete removal as Israel's a state and the Jewish people. It isn't, I'm not negotiating with that as in whoever's negotiating. This plan, it does give incentives to the reconcilable. This is what we usually say, the irreconcilable kind of terrorists and the reconcilable. Because DDR, disarmament, demilitarization, reconciliation, you actually had people who used to be Hamas who could sign a paper saying, I'm no longer Hamas and I want to live and be a part of this new society. It actually is a path of peace like other wars where there has been unilateral defeat of the other organization and it doesn't exist anymore. Although it'll exist on the fringes. I mean, there'll be Hamas on the fringes, but from a actual power left. This is what this plan does. It doesn't give Hamas any incentives. It removes any hope. This plan, unlike any other plan that's ever been talked about in the last 2 years, removes an ideal of hope that Hamas could win. Even if they have the old insurgent theory, although Hamas is not an insurgent, there's this insurgency theory thing of where you have the watches, I have the time, where they'll just take their licks, lose whatever they'll lose, but they're just waiting it out until something else changes. That's an insurgency kind of mindset. The Taliban did that, right? They hid in Pakistan, like, we'll wait as long as you need us to. And then this removes hope that Hamas will survive.
Sorry, can you explain to me insurgency theory again? So it just means you can just sit out a siege as long as...
Not a siege, just a war. Just say the saying is, you have the watches, I have the time.
Right.
It's very common in multiple Vietnamese, Afghanistan. It doesn't matter. It's the insurgent.
Okay.
Or even if you believe in the freedom fighter, just says, this is a matter of time.
Right. I see. So just back to the deal, though, presumably for whatever Hamas leadership are still sat in Qatar, they are, it's them that have got to, they're still representing Hamas and they have got to be the signatories.
Yep.
So the incentive for them to sign is that this is the best possible situation for you. It gets a hell of a lot worse, but it's not a good situation for you. But things are going to get much worse,
right? Because you can't get much worse for Gaza, Hamas, right? They think they had a survival, and Gideon's Chariot B started to remove the ideal of those no-go areas of survival, right? So this is why they are concentrated now into 15% of Gaza Strip, but the noose is around their necks. But the leadership is in Qatar, and as soon as this is why the Trump statement, which I'm proud of as an American, there's no wiggle room here. You're going to do this. But once those Middle Eastern or those Muslim and Arab nations started signing up for the peace plan, it removed Hamas's leadership in Qatar's ideas about achieving a victory. It removed their hope. If Qatar was to kick them out.
So still the problem with that, just to go back to earlier things we've said, is that if they are sort of radical Islamists, and actually death is preferable because then they get martyrdom, and signing this deal would mean to, in their mind, I guess, dishonor the martyrs who had lost their lives. It's all for nothing. I still don't quite see why they would be incentivized to sign it exactly. So,
and that's why the details of the plan are so. It takes away any save face for me in their plans of just surviving and then existing.
So it is a humiliation.
It's a defeat. I don't care about people's feelings. It's literally, because even the International Stabilization Force, if Hamas says no, this plan covers that. This plan says, even if Hamas says no to this plan, we will progress forward with creating Hamas-free zones.
Yes.
Now with the backing, unlike ever before, probably in Israel's history, now with the backing of multiple other countries being involved in actually creating that stability in that area. It takes the ownership of the interacting with the population, the clear hold build, all this plan. That's why I've been so supportive of it. Not because it gave this ultimatum or anything like that. The details destroys Hamas whether they want to or not. Bit by bit. Even if Hamas says no, I don't care about their feelings and incentives to say it. If they cared about the people, they would sign it. But we've already established they don't care about the people.
Right.
It shows that even if they say no, they won't be able to reconcile. They will be destroyed bit by bit. So it's like the end is already laid out for them. Now they're going to probably try to negotiate some way for them, not to save face, but to see a path towards eventual survival. That's why they mentioned in their one response so far that they approve a technocratic governance of Gaza. But then they, in the next paragraph, talk about they'll always be a part of the process. They want what's called the Hezbollah model, where they, like we just talked about, exist in a society with military capabilities, but technically aren't the government.
They're not going to get it.
They're not going to get that.
They're going to get Tony Blair instead.
Yeah, but the fact that they added that paragraph, we approve the technocratic, and Hamas is a part of the Palestinian struggle, will always be a part of the process and responsible. No. This 20-point plan addresses that as well.
Thanks for watching this clip from The Winston Marshall Show. You can click here to watch the full episode, and for more clips like this one, don't forget to subscribe. And as always, be well.